In the early morning haze of October 1953, Cold Creek looked like any peaceful American town. But the fog that rolled over its streets wasn't just mist. It was a warning no one would hear in time. Inside one of the homes, breakfast still steamed on a plate. The coffee was hot, the radio was playing jazz, and the chairs were pushed back like someone had just stood up. But no one was there. Not a soul. Police arrived quickly, their cruisers inching through the fog. Toys lay abandoned in yards, swings moved gently in the wind, and everywhere the same question echoed, where did everyone go? By nightfall, the military had sealed off the entire town. Trucks blocked every exit, soldiers stood on corners, and the town was marked restricted. Whatever had happened in Cold Creek, they didn't want the world to know. In the center of town stood an old church. Its stained glass windows were shattered, and inside the air was thick with dust and something else, something ancient, something watching. On a broken pew, they found a journal. Handwritten in shaky ink were the words, "They're not children. They wear skin-like costumes." Pages were filled with drawings of pale figures, all with black, soulless eyes. Deep beneath the church, investigators discovered what looked like a sealed vault. Inside were files, classified files, with stamps from intelligence agencies that didn't exist in 1953. One document was labeled Project Hollow Veil. Years before Cold Creek vanished, the USS Cyclops disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle. It was a massive Navy ship with over 300 men aboard. No distress call, no debris, just gone. A single lifeboat was discovered weeks later. Inside were 3 children, silent, expressionless, and completely dry despite the storm. All 3 had black eyes. The rescuers who found them never made it back to shore. The corridors of that ghost ship reeked of salt and silence. Metal walls echoed with footsteps that weren't there. Crew logs ended mid-sentence. The last entry read, "They're walking among us." Satellite scans of the ocean floor showed something impossible. The Cyclops hadn't sunk, it had faded, as if it slipped into another layer of reality, one where rules didn't apply. In the captain's logbook, scrawled in the margins between coordinates, were frantic notes. Eyes watching from inside the mirrors. The children never blink. They know your name before you speak. Decades later, in rural Texas, a man driving through a thunderstorm pulled over to rest. As rain battered his windshield, 2 figures approached from the dark. Children. Soaking wet. Expressionless. They knocked on his window, politely asking to come inside, but something about them felt wrong. Too calm, too quiet, and those eyes, not just black, but empty. The man didn't open the door. He just drove, fast. Later, he called police. He couldn't sleep. He said their voices echoed in his head, "Let us in! Let us in!" Reports of black-eyed children began to rise across America. They knocked on doors late at night, always polite, always asking the same thing. But anyone who let them in was never seen again. Some say the children come from deep woods where no birds sing, places where time doesn't flow normally. Trees there bleed when cut. The air smells metallic. Nothing natural lives. Conspiracy theorists have tied Cold Creek, the USS Cyclops, and the black-eyed children to one thing: a hidden program buried in government archives, a project designed to test what can't be explained. Recently, a glitch in satellite mapping caused Cold Creek to reappear. Not ruins, fully intact. But before anyone could investigate, it vanished again, as if the town itself is alive. A researcher replicated the last known home from Cold Creek. Same furniture, same breakfast, same music. It worked. For a moment, the past overlapped with the present, and something stepped through. A door creaked open by itself. Footsteps echoed on wooden floors, and for just a second, time cracked. Decades blurred, and someone or something stood at the edge of the hallway. Then, nothing. Just silence. A final typewritten message appeared on an old screen. "They're back." And faintly, almost like a whisper in your own ear, "We never left."